Anybody who's unable to join us, you can let them know that this will be recorded. And so we would like everybody who is participating today to be aware of that. And your participation with any comments in the chat or if you have any questions or anything, that will also be recorded so that you're aware. Wonderful. Okay. Okay. Again, welcome. And so very excited for you to join us today. We're having some questions here to Andrea. We have Andrea with us who's helping us with any technical issues, so we can work through that as we get started. Okay. Make sure everybody's in. We'll give everybody time to join us. As we're waiting to be sure that everybody has that time to join us here, if there's been a bit of technical difficulties, if you want to add anything into the chat about where you're joining us from, the organization you're joining us from, it would be wonderful to see who is all here. It looks like we have well over 30 guests, and we are so excited to have you here with us today. Okay. Okay, Andrea, it looks like we're set to go. And I would like to begin to introduce myself. My name is Julianne Judge, and I am an implementation science manager at RNAO, where I specialize in knowledge transfer strategies that bridge the gap between evidence-based research and healthcare practice. I have been a registered nurse for over 25 years with experience in critical care as well as the education sector. I have a master's degree in professional education from Western University and a BSCN from Laurentian University. I am very excited to be with you all here today and wish our fellow nurses a very happy Nurses Week. In the background, we have Andrea Stubbs, our project lead for Best Practice Champions Network and the BPSO program. We could not do this without Andrea's support. It's great to have Andrea helping us with any of the technical difficulties, as well as ensuring that today's session goes smoothly. I would like to hand this over to Harveer as she introduces herself. And speaking of technical difficulties, Harveer might have had just to jump off the line for a moment, and that is fine. She will be back with us shortly. I will start then with the land acknowledgement, and we will come right back to the introduction of Harveer. We recognize that our work and the work of our members takes place on traditional Indigenous territories across Ontario. We also wish to acknowledge that the office of the RNAO is located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and the territory of the Mississauga of Credit. We also recognize that the participants of this workshop are located in other traditional lands. The territory was the subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, which is an agreement between the Iroquois Confederacy and the Ojibwe and allied nations to share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. Today, this land is still the home to many First Nations, Inuit and Métis peoples from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this territory. By personally making a land acknowledgement, you are taking part in an act of reconciliation, honoring the land and Indigenous heritage, which dates back to over 10,000 years. We encourage you to learn about the land you reside on and the treaties that are attached to it. Land acknowledgements are an act of reconciliation, and we must all do our part. Well, thank you for listing your names and a nice warm welcome to you all again and to where you're joining us from. Andrea's going to help us with a poll here. It's a getting to know you. In which sector of healthcare do you work in? So there's a list here of acute care, primary care, mental health, public health, long-term care, hospice care, education, and other. If you don't see it on the list, if it's under other, please do add to the chat, and we would love to see where everybody is coming from. We'll just give that a minute. We have about 20 out of 37 participants that have done this, so we'll give it a little bit more time um, for these other participants. So hopefully all of you are able to take part in this poll. Wonderful to see who is all here. As the numbers are coming in, it's looking pretty close with many of the sectors that we have. Nice variety of sectors here with us this afternoon. That's wonderful. Okay, thank you, Andrea. So acute care, from the participants, it looks like we have about 21%, primary care is 7%, mental health services 11%, and long-term care 32%, education 7%, and other 21%. So please do, for those others, please add in the chat. We have occupational health in acute care setting. That is wonderful, wonderful to have you all here. Um, and it takes all of us to really effectively do our role in healthcare. And we're so happy that you're able to join us today. So I'd like to first start with the overview of this session. We'll be going over several things this afternoon, Javier and I. And at the end of today's webinar, we hope that you will have gained an understanding of the Best Practice Champions Network, as well as the Champions Competency and Framework. We hope that you will gain further knowledge of the Best Practice Champions new and exciting program offerings, including the new eLearn and the Train the Trainer opportunities. And we also will be providing lots of resources and updates that RNAO is offering. We would like to wish all of our nurses a very happy Nurses Week and all those that support nurses as well. Thank you for all you do in your profession. We would like to know how you might be celebrating this week and ask that you use the annotate feature. And if you're not sure how to use that here on Zoom, on the top of your screen, you're going to see 3 dots. And in that 3 dots, you're just going to click on the circle with 3 dots on the very top of your screen. And that is going to do a drop down menu. And you will see annotate listed there. And by you clicking on that, you're going to have the opportunity to pick a pencil and change the colors of that if you'd like. And we're going to ask that you Yep, there, somebody's well on their way on that. Thank you for starting us off. So we would like to know how you might be celebrating Nurses Week and ask that you use the annotate feature to circle or check off any of the 6 suggestions you see on your screen. Or if you have different plans and you feel comfortable to share with us, you can do that in the chat. You can also unmute and let us know. It would be great to hear from you as well. Again, please feel free to be turning your cameras on if you feel comfortable with that. Um, and so lots of things happening in your organizations through Nurses Week. You're going to have cake with coworkers. Well, one thing we definitely know about anybody in healthcare is we do enjoy our sweets and to gather together over coffee or tea and cake and other goodies is always fun, no matter what we are celebrating. So that is wonderful to see that that will be an opportunity for you this week. Games at work. Oh, love to hear more about that. What type of games will be happening? That will be so much fun. I really do enjoy games as well. So, and coffee with friends, of course. um, Setting aside some time to have that coffee break with your coworkers, with your friends is so important. Um, and this week as well is hopefully finding time to do that each week. Walking on your break. It is a beautiful day here, as I'm on the call from southwestern Ontario with almost 26 degrees outside. We've been waiting for the nice weather for a long time, so I'm not complaining one bit. It is a beautiful day to start that walk on your break or after work, and I hope that you will enjoy that. Um, a team dinner, that will be very nice. I wonder where you'll be going, and I'm sure that it will be a fantastic time. And attending presentations, well, yes, that was added so many of you can already check that off because here at RNAO this week we have many presentations and webinars and meetings and such happening and welcoming everybody to join us. So thank you for your participation in that. It is wonderful to have you here, and we wish you all the best this week. And we thank you for all that you do in your organization and in your profession. Okay, so we'll just move ourselves from our fun annotate, and Andrew will clear our artwork as we move into um, discussing through more information about the Best Practice Champion Network. Um, RNAO is set up as 3 pillars, and some of you might already recognize this here from seeing this on other meetings or webinars with RNAO. The Integrated Best Practice Guideline Program includes 3 integrated pillars that together support positive outcomes for persons, families, health providers, organizations, and health systems. The 3 pillars are guideline development, dissemination, implementation, and sustainability, and monitoring and evaluation. The Best Practice Champions Network is a component of the dissemination, implementation, and sustainability pillar, and it incorporates the champions workshops, either online or in person, as well as the champions train the trainer, champions information sharing webinars, and the champions open house funding. Throughout today's presentation, we will be providing more information on each of those best practice champions opportunities that we offer. So here we have the Global Best Practice Champions Network. And this network was established in 2002. It now includes over 100,000 change agents in Ontario and globally around the world. Change agents are people passionate about implementation, evidence-based practice, and improving care and health. It includes nurses and other healthcare professionals from all roles in health sectors, nursing students, advocates, persons with lived experience, and caregivers. These champions raise awareness about RNAO best practice guidelines, BPGs, as they mobilize their peers and use change management processes and social movement approaches to influence the uptake and sustainability of BPGs in their academic or practice setting to benefit the broader communities that we serve. Here you'll see the goals of the Best Practice Champion Network with the awareness of the RNAO best practice guidelines, our BPGs, which many of you will be aware of. And we have the engagement and motivation of peers to promote evidence-based practice as part of being part of this network. And we are RNAO's leading and utilizing RNAO's leading change toolkit is the foundation of the Champions program. And we're going to go further through that leading change toolkit. So who are champions? Well, champions raise awareness. As I've mentioned about RNAO best practice guidelines, they mobilize peers and use change management processes and the social movement approach to influence the uptake and sustainability of BPGs, evidence-based practice at their academic and practice setting. As an RNAO best practice champion, you'll be able to access a wide variety of resources and supports, including social networking, regular information sharing webinars, workshops, and funding opportunities to support further education and networks. For example, the Champions Open House funding. So someone who supports the use of BPGs and other evidence-based practice. Many of you who are joining us today maybe come from an organization where you have champions already. You might even be a champion yourself. And so we would like to take the opportunity, as Andrea prepares the word cloud, another great way to share our thoughts is, what does a best practice champion mean to you? So you are going to see Andrea place a link in the chat. If you click on that link, it's going to bring you to this word cloud page. There you see, we'll be able to see what you're typing. The link is in the chat. Thank you, Andrea. There is a code up above. And I can just read that out here. It's 3570-6711. Typing in that code will bring you to this page here. What does best practice champion mean to you? So we'll just take a moment to identify. Excellent. Peer mentors, that is big. Oh, very good. Promoting best practices. Thank you. Being change, being the change. Wonderful. Mentors, role models, person-centered advocacy, service, leading change, leader. This is so great to see. So many ways to describe a best practice champion, and the opportunities that brings in your organization, the opportunities that brings in your profession, to really advance evidence-based practice into your profession and into your organization. Wow, engagement, being a change leader, leading change, facilitator. This is wonderful. So many great descriptions and opportunities on being a best practice champion. We'll just wait a minute and see if we see any others. Promoting best practice. Agent of change. Wow, that's wonderful. Being the change, peer support, leading change. And over here in our chat, we have an educator, being a change agent, sustaining change. Wow, that is wonderful. Okay, thank you, Andrea. That's great. So we look at these opportunities to be a best practice champion, and Javier is going to go further in describing the Champions Competency framework, and really how that was developed, and the importance of the competency self-assessment tool and such. So I can call upon Javier.
Thanks, Julianne.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone. Happy Nurses Week. And my apologies, my computer decided to restart, so I missed the introduction. But for those of you
actually, Javier, I told them you would do a nice introduction before you started now. So this is great. So thank you so much.
Great. Well, yes, I'm Javier. I've been with the RNAO for over 4 years now as an implementation science manager, as a proud BPSO coach, working with many different best practice spotlight organizations to implement evidence-based practice changes into various organizations. and I have been doing lots of work in the Champions program for 4 years now. So very excited for today. Excited to announce the Train the Trainer program, which lots of you have been waiting for. But before we delve into that, we just wanted to go over the Best Practice Champions Competency Framework in case this is new to you still and you just are more interested in knowing a little bit more. So, as Julianne went over, who are champions? We have a large global network of people that are champions. We were looking at our numbers just last month, close, sometimes over 500 champions a month. So, one, amazing to be proud of this large network and to be a part of it. But we really wanted to define, well, how can these champions most effectively engage in change through the social movement action and knowledge to action framework, which you may be familiar with as part of the Leading Change Toolkit, what Julianne mentioned again is foundational to our champions program. And we leveraged the various different tools we have. We engaged with our champions through focus groups, conducted a scoping review, and came up with this self assessment tool to really help guide our champions into self assessing how they can gain experience to effectively engage in change, how they can build their capacity to support others through the change process. So, very proud of this framework that identifies 7 key roles of our champions: leaders, advocates, collaborators, communicators, content and context experts, facilitators, and mentors. So, various different hats. And the framework actually goes in depth of defining each one and then providing some actionable, I believe there's 32 total 34 performance statements, which are actionable statements of how can you actually embody this role? What does that actually mean to be a leader? Is it role modeling change, for example? Or for facilitator, champions apply strategies to operationalize and guide that practice change. So things like project management, a lot of our champions are great experts in. So getting to know the role of the champion and being able to self assess where you are in your journey as a champion becomes very important. And we use the Benner's stages of competence to help guide our self assessment tool. And of course, this was a old tool and some of the nurses may be familiar with that is really widely used in nursing today and other healthcare professionals as well, but we adapted it to be specific to the role of our champions. So you can actually go through each performance statement, and we'll do that together today and self assess yourself of where you fall in that range. So, to give a little bit of an example of competency and performance statement, we define competency as a knowledge, behavior, skills, and attitude required to make practice change. So, in our communication role, one of our performance statements are champions are experts who demonstrate commitment to skillfully using framing strategies to describe practice change and create shared purpose. So, for example, champions are all the time telling stories, integrating stories into their work, using data, using visuals to really highlight all of the amazing work that they're doing. And we recognize this as an important skill of champions. And you can break that down into the knowledge that they have related to communication theory or framing theory, the Leading Change Toolkit, other change theories, their behavior of commitment to using these strategies to describe practice change. Communication for definitely as a skill, telling stories is a skill as well, and attitude, really inspiring shared purpose. We heard from various of our champions, one of the defining things of champions is really when they create a sense of belonging within teams and inspire that shared collective identity. So this is just how we go about breaking down most of our performance statements. And we thought we would do, before we move on, a quick poll with you all so you can practice using our self-assessment tool for the framing competency that we just discussed. So we'll pause there and you can self-assess yourself. Great. And if anybody has any questions regarding the self-assessment tool, we can certainly share that with you, where to find that tool and in the chat box, but very open to any questions you may have about it as well. Okay, thanks, Andrea, for sharing that poll. Okay, let's see how our participants are identifying themselves. Okay, wonderful. So real mix of stages of experience and competence, as we typically see, advanced, beginners, competent, proficient, almost a split actually between those three. And that's wonderful. And so how we've seen some of our best practice spotlight organizations, champions, leaders in formal and formal leadership roles use this tool is as a performance appraisal tool, as a tool to help describe what it means to be a champion to others. So if someone is joining your team and they want to know what the role of a champion really looks like, or a description of that role, this is a great tool to use and revisit as well, to assess your competency and learn where you may want to gain some more experience and build capacity as well. So given that, and we went over this tool very, very briefly, but wanted to introduce this because really majority of all of the offerings that we offer are really use the self-assessment tool and are designed to help build competency in the various roles and the performance statements we identify. So in 2023, we actually released our new curriculum that was really built, in addition to the Leading Change Toolkit, also to be competency based and help our champions build capacity as well. So we'll go through all of the updates, but really quickly, feel free to unmute your mic or share in the chat box of how did you hear about champions, or perhaps what you're hoping to also learn today. I'll give a minute to do that, and feel free to unmute your line as well. Julianne, let me know if anybody has their hand raised. I can't see myself. Great. So yes, from a nurse educator at Osler. Osler is one of our best practice spotlight organizations, workshops, Loft Community Services. So it's really, really interesting because we know that our best practice spotlight organizations, of course, use our champions program to train champions in their organizations, but it's always interesting to hear where people are learning about champions from. Julie sharing Niagara Health has been a BPSO since 2003, and congratulations, Julie. That's a huge and a long time. And I think I was trying to do a shout out earlier to Heather McConnell, our director of IABPG, or past director of IABPG, who contributed greatly to our program and can share that how widespread it is really a lot to do with Heather. So grateful that she's here today with us as well. So we'll continue sharing and moving forward. One of the first big updates that we wanted to provide is to do with our Champions Blended Learning Series. So the Blended Learning Series, for those of you that may have used that or been familiar with that platform, although we're saying it's retiring on July 30th, So if you have any unfinished parts of the blended learning series you are completing, you'll need to complete it before July 30th, as it won't be accessible after that date. And the reason we're doing this is we're actually today, Zara, one of our IMT supports here internally on our team, just sent out an email to us that the new eLearn is now live, which is absolutely wonderful. And we were finding that our blended learning series really was getting quite a bit of success. People were enjoying it, but we wanted to provide an asynchronous offering to our champions as well in our BPSOs, so that you can do it self-paced on your own time and don't need to worry about joining those live sessions. And we tried to integrate those application pieces into the e-learning component. So very excited about this transition, and we hope it will support you in supporting your champions in your organizations. So you can actually sign up for the new eLearn that is available and access it. So those modules that were part of the blended learning series, that content remains and is still available to all. If you're interested in finishing the blended learning series, we still have those sessions, so not to worry until July. Okay, and that is it for our eLearn update as well. So available now, which is quite wonderful. I've heard a lot from our academic organizations that are excited to embed this into curriculum, as well as integrating it into perhaps onboarding training. So if you have any questions about accessing the eLearning, feel free to reach out to Andrea, Julianne, or I about it. We're very excited to get your feedback for the eLearning. And right now we still have our French e-learning available, and we'll be looking forward to translating this new e-learning into French as well. So stay tuned for that. Okay, and part of the e-learning platform that's actually great is all of our job aids that are available. So various workshop templates that you can use, that various different reference guides that are all divided into that planning for change, making change happen, and sustaining change phases. And these are always available to you. So even after you finish the course, if you want to go back and say, oh, I really need to go look at that gap analysis tool or template again, or I really want some strategies of how to build mentor-mentee relationships, those tools are always available to each participant. So we're very happy to share that. And also very happy to share that we have in-person workshops. So for the past few years, actually, a lot of our workshops we have not been able to offer in person. And we have a strong team of coaches now that are willing to go to their various different best practice spotlight organizations around the province to host in-person workshops. So if you're interested in hosting, the requirements, of course, are to have minimum of 15 attendees. And of course, if you're BPSO internally, may not have that many attendees. Some may be smaller organizations. It's actually a great idea to build community and invite additional organizations around you to join. And we encourage that, to invite all of your partner organizations to foster that networking. And the BPSO host required to provide catering, but we will reimburse you up to $33 per person for catering for the day of the workshop. We're also fairly flexible. So some of our BPSO workshops have asked, can you do this actually in the evening for us instead? And a lot of our coaches will be very agreeable to that as long as it works for their schedule. But happy to make this as accessible to your champions as possible. And we can guide you through the registration process as well, but you register online and you receive your certificate online as well. We have some resources we can support you in promoting the workshop, but of course, marketing the event, making it your own is highly encouraged. So just connect with your BPSO coach. Feel free to connect with Andrea, Julianne, or I as well if you have any questions about hosting in-person workshops. And now I anticipate a lot of you are probably waiting to hear about the Train the Trainer program, which we are very delighted to announce the start of. So this has been a long time coming, and we thank you for your patience. A lot of our BPSOs that have been with us for a while have been advocating for a program of this sort. So we're really, really proud to have this for you now. So, the purpose of a train the trainer model is really to build capacity by preparing trainers to support and train critical mass of champions. And we want to foster that sustainability in your organizations by creating your own internal trainers within your local context. So, what we want to do is we have trainers such as myself and Julianne who will provide this training to perhaps yourself, perhaps people like Julie in Niagara Health or others, so that you can really train your own champions in your organization, host your own in person workshops for when works for you best. So, really excited about this. Lots of different benefits, but expanding trainers across BPSOs so we have capacity to host as many workshops as we need. It also ensures the sustainability of evidence based practice through capacity building and building your own team culture of evidence based culture as well. Establish local and internal champions trainers so we'll discuss a bit later. We'll be providing you slides, speaker notes, lots of one-on-one coaching. But what's great is you could make the content, tweak it to stories that make sense in your local context. And we were talking about framing. So there really is a need to frame the content to make sense to your audience, which we absolutely support. And again, I think we chatted about promoting that culture of evidence-based practice. And the role of champions trainers is to really developing knowledge and experience as trainers. So, again, continuous learning individuals that really want to seek out those opportunities to learn more about the SMA, KTA frameworks and to help others learn. Staying updated with changes to curriculum provided by RNAO. So we do have a process that we'll go over for applying to the program. And once you are a trainer, we do stay in regular contact so that you can know of any curriculum changes that we may have. Facilitating the champions workshops is the largest part of your role of leading, supporting the planning, delivering, and evaluation with our support, and building and maintaining trusting relationships. Really building that meaningful relationships with your peers, promoting inclusivity and a sense of belonging, as we've been chatting about. In terms of other responsibilities, we do have a checklist, so I won't get too in detail about this, but organizing the space ahead of time, using our training materials as provided or adapted, promoting that workshop so that you know who is best to attend and can get people and the word out. Gathering any supplies you may need, but really we don't require any supplies or printing. And then, of course, helping participants through the registration and evaluation, as well as gaining the certificate. I think there's a question in the chat. Is there a requirement that staff already have a champion? And then it cuts off for me, Julianne. So maybe you could finish that off. Let me just see.
Sure. A champion certificate before the trainer. That's a great question, Javier. So yeah.
Yeah, great question. So absolutely we do ask that all of our champions do get trained prior to the trainer training. If you've been trained in the last 2 years, that's what the requirement is. However, what's great is we actually, the day before the training, host champions workshops as well. So we have a session upcoming in June. And what we're doing is for those of you that may be outside of that 2-year range or are fairly new to your organization and haven't had a chance to receive the training yet. The first day is a optional. So for those of you that haven't, to attend a full Champions Day training, get your certificate, and the next day is the train the trainer training. So what we do is we work with the BPSO coach just to make sure they are able to support you if you're a new champion, and able to co-facilitate perhaps the first few workshops with you. So yes, there is a requirement in the last 2 years, and if you don't have it, then we can support you in making sure you do receive that training. Other supports we have for trainers, as we mentioned, we have a trainer orientation. This is our next 2 sessions are actually virtual that we are offering in June and July, but we are hoping for a in-person one in the fall, so stay tuned for that. We have a comprehensive training manual that we hope to share with our trainers. We have a PowerPoint slide deck with speakers notes that will be given to all trainers so that they have a baseline of resources to work with, a participant learning package. We have lots of templates that are absolutely optional, like sign-in sheets, agendas, promotional flyers you can take a look at. You'll have access to the eLearn and resource repository so that if you require additional content support, there's some gaps you want to fill, you can absolutely go back to do that. There's ongoing BPSO coaching support. And this is really key to this partnership, is working closely with your BPSO coach for mentorship, for feedback, and for co-facilitation in the beginning, if that supports you. And we have an evaluation approach already in place for participants as well as trainers so that we can collect the data that we need to, as well as support you in gaining data as well about for trainers for their learning. And I will go through, I believe we have a slide about that goes a little bit more depth in the process and at some dates. So the process, we actually have the application available now to sign up. And the application closes May 23rd. So we can perhaps post the link in the chat box, Julianne, to the application for those of you that are interested. And then what we do is we are going to essentially ask everyone apply that is interested. And as long as the coach can support you and your organization, you'll be successful in getting informed and being enrolled in the program. And we'll send out those emails by June 2nd. And then we'll ask all of our successful applicants to attend the mandatory kickoff orientation and the optional champions workshop before that. So June 24th is our optional champions workshop. Then our mandatory virtual kickoff orientation is June 25th. Our second offering is August 12th and 13th. And we also will have a fall offering in October 28th or 29th. So on the application form, it does ask you to indicate which one you prefer. So once you've done the kickoff orientation, trainers prepare to host the Champions Workshop training at their local sites. Again, they receive all training materials from us, and they connect with their coach for mentorship and to plan their first training. When you're hosting your first training, the key requirement is that you host it within the 6-month period of when your kickoff orientation is. So when selecting your dates, if there's people here that are interested in doing the train the trainer, just ensuring you're thinking, are we able to host it within those 6 months by the end of the year, or January is I think what we're saying for that June one. And if not, then of course you're available for the August and October one as well. And we'll have ongoing opportunities to participate in this program. And I see there's a couple of other questions, and I can answer those as we go. Is it a requirement that the staff for Train the Trainer have already participated in previous BPG implementations? That is a great question, Christine. It is not a hard requirement. So what we do is on the application, you can absolutely indicate whether we ask the previous experience of the person. We do want individuals that have perhaps experience with BPG implementation in the BPSO process and with change initiatives, even if not specific to BPG implementation, people that are fairly comfortable with workshops. but we want to support your organization, and we do want you to build capacity in individuals that may have an interest, if not perhaps that experience. And this is where that coach mentorship role becomes important. So, encouraged, but not a hard requirement. And we can work with the coach to make sure that you're going through the train the trainer process with those individuals that may not have that much experience as well. Great question. Okay. And of course, for program fidelity and our evaluation, we have participant and trainer evaluation forms. We're going to ask you to debrief with BPSO coach consistently after your first training. And that's when we can provide some feedback as well and support. So, certainly, that support will be there to support individuals in being successful in the program. Yes, absolutely, Christine. So if you plan to include a staff who doesn't have experience right now, you can add that the plan will be to include them. That's absolutely, I think, especially in our current HR climate of how fast turnover and things, that's really important, and we recognize important for your organizations as well. Okay, so training offerings. So we wanted to do a little bit of a breakdown. How can champions be trained? So of course, the eLearn, which is now available, is one way. And again, there's no cost associated, flexible, self-paced. Then there's those offerings that are in person that your coach will host. And those are also available now. We come in, we host it. We can work with you, of course, to tailor and adapt. But what you do is you contact your BPSO coach, schedule a date that works for your organization, organize the logistics, the food, the fun activities, perhaps how to get people to sign up. And it's offered again at no cost. We do provide reimbursement for those ones that we are coming in to offer. And then the new offering is the Train the Trainer Best Practice Champions Workshop. So again, available. The application's open till May 23rd. Approved applicant emails will be sent out by June 2nd. And there's those dates there, the June dates, August and October dates. We don't provide, I will add, for those of you that may be interested in knowing reimbursement here, because it's really the organization that will be organizing it when works best for them. The first couple of trainings, you may want to ask your coach to co-facilitate with you. We highly encourage that. But after that, it's really up to you how often you want to host your champions workshops. It could be onboarding monthly. You will report those numbers back to us, of course, but have flexibility, which is really exciting in doing that. Okay. Any questions? Is there anything we want to hear from you? Any questions about the Train the Trainer program? How long are the workshops? Great question. So I'll share that all of them are around 6 hours. So the eLearn criteria should take about 6 hours to complete. It's self-paced though, so we have a wide range. The content of the in-person workshops, again, it's usually a full day. If we're coming out there, we like to do it in one day, have it a full day with a lunch, so about 7 hours and some breaks as well. So it's a full day, like a 6 to 8 hour day, for sure. When you're doing it yourself, if you'd like to break it up into a 2 hour day, if you're in the Train the Trainer program, you want to facilitate your own workshops. If that's what works best for your team, that's absolutely an option. And a lot of coaches are flexible if they're going for in-person workshops. If you really want to break it up, they can absolutely work with you on that as well. Great. Okay. Any other questions? Anything you're excited about? Hopefully, this is building capacity in your team to support, continuing to build your network of champions. Okay. Amazing. Oh, thank you for sharing, Sylvia, that you had an in-person champions training with coaches and it was fantastic. We're so happy to hear. And especially in the post-pandemic environment, we're hearing how great it is for people to engage in a day of of course, it's fun, but it's also very strategic in maintaining your implementation initiatives. Yes, absolutely. We have a system to evaluate this Train the Trainer program. So the participants will be, when you host your own workshop, the participants will be able to provide feedback. And we also do have something in place for trainers to provide feedback. So what we will have is a platform for trainers where trainers can sign up. They can go into their program, that's into their platform. That's where they'll have like a tab for all of their resources, a tab for also an evaluation, and to also submit data. And we go over all of that with our trainers in our training. Okay, great questions. Absolutely, we can share this. Chanel or Andrea, I think we should be able to share this PowerPoint. We are recording as well, so we'll see if we can share that as well. Great. And Anu, I see you're here. Thank you so much for joining. I think.
Yeah, if first of all, happy Nurses Week to everyone. If people don't have any questions that they want her video to answer, I'd like everyone to please switch on the cameras if they're comfortable to. I'd like to take a group picture, and I can give you guys a heads up once people are ready.
Oh, thank you, Anu.
Thank
That would
you.
be so welcomed. And I think is a great time to do that. So yes, if you are able to come on camera, that would be wonderful. So we can take a group picture. No worries.
I see people have switched on their cameras. Thank you so much. And more are
Thank you.
joining in. So I'll have to take a couple of pictures, but I'll give you
Okay.
guys a heads up as well.
Okay.
Oh,
Great.
nice to see you, Heather.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll give you a heads up. 3, 2, 1. I've got one picture, so let me just take one more. I'll give you guys a heads up once again. So just allow me a moment. Okay, all right. 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I just was responding to a question quickly, but great question about how did champions receive their certificate. So it's all online depending on which training modality they're using. So for eLearn, you're able to download it right when you're finished the evaluation in eLearn. For in-person workshops, similarly, you have to register online so that you are able to log into your own platform. Then once completed the in-person workshop, as well as the Train the Trainer in-person workshop your organization's hosting, you'll be able to get it and download it online once completed. Okay, I think I hand it over to you, Julianne, now to close us off. We have a few other exciting things to share with you, but thank you so much, everyone, for allowing me to share my afternoon with you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Javier. And if a question comes to mind, please do just type it in the chat or even raise your hand. We really want to be sure that we take this time to answer any questions you have. I'm going to just move along with other updates and resources. We have so many resources on the RNAO website. I'm just going to draw your attention to a few and then also a few updates. So you've heard Javier and I refer to the Leading Change Toolkit. This is the foundation of the Champions program. It is a free online, open access, evidence-informed implementation resource, and it focuses on the uptake and sustainability of knowledge or evidence. This tool uses two complementary frameworks, and that is the social movement action and the knowledge to action framework. So here you will see the social movement action framework, which is a collection of 16 elements that illustrates how grassroots people-led social movement action can be used to achieve knowledge uptake and sustainability. And here is the knowledge to action framework. It provides a structured and systematic change process that includes a 7-phase action cycle to support the implementation and sustainability of knowledge tool, such as the RNAO best practice guidelines. The Champions Information Sharing webinar, you had heard me mention that before, and this is an exciting opportunity that we have monthly webinars to share information on the strategies used by champions and healthcare leaders to implement, sustain, and evaluate the impact of best practice guidelines in the workplace. So you'll see that these sessions are open to nurses and other healthcare professionals in the organizations across Ontario and around the world who are interested in learning more about evidence-based practice. We have a session coming up May 27th. We hope that you're available to join us. And the open house funding, all individuals who have completed the best practice champions training and who have obtained the support of their organization may apply for funding. The champions may submit an application once per fiscal year on behalf of their organization for funding up to $1,000. This may be used to fund one or more open house events. And applications are accepted throughout the year, and funding is granted on a first come, first served basis. In Nurses Week, RNAO has a very full Nurses Week. Apologize for that. RNAO has a very full Nurses Week schedule of events, and so please take a moment to check out our Nurses Week webpage to see the full schedule. And this year, RNAO is celebrating our 100 years of being a professional association. We would invite all of you to join us either in person or through the live stream at our annual general meeting, taking place from May 29th to 30th in Toronto at the Hilton Hotel. Registration is open now. The link is in the chat, or you can scan the QR code. We also have a virtual yearbook that we would encourage you to sign to help RNAO members celebrate 100 years. And RNAO is offering a special membership promotion just in time for Nurses Week. If you aren't a member, we would encourage you to join RNAO to take advantage of the many membership benefits and to be part of a strong nursing association. Memberships for the remainder of the membership year until October 31st, 2025 will be only $50 plus HST. Please take a moment to complete the evaluation of today's session by either scanning the QR code or clicking on the link in your chat. You have the opportunity to complete the evaluation and to enter your name in to win prizes. Well, that's very exciting. So if you complete that evaluation, you have the opportunity to be in a draw for some prizes. Evaluations that are completed before 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Friday, May 23rd are eligible to be winners. And on behalf of our team, we just want to thank everybody for joining us today. And there are some contact emails. Feel free to reach out. And we thank you for spending maybe your coffee break, your lunch hour with us. And we wish everybody a wonderful and happy Nurses Week. And we're going to sign off and hope you have a great day. Thank you.